Do you ever ask yourself how you missed the signs that a person or environment was abusive and causing you harm? This is a common experience that people who are survivors of spiritual abuse, narcissistic abuse, emotional abuse, and other types of abuse, they have this experience, and I'm going to explain why in this video. My name is Dr. Felucia, and I'm a licensed psychologist and owner of Skill Set Counseling, where I focus on the treatment of OCD, spiritual abuse, and cultural abuse. So, back to the question at hand. How do you miss the signs? It's easy after being in a situation where abuse occurred to look back and say, oh my goodness, this person was this way. Something didn't add up about them. Something was wrong with this environment, right? But when you're in that situation, it can be really difficult to recognize those signs. And the reason why this occurs is a phenomenon known as betrayal blindness. And betrayal blindness is exactly what it sounds like. It's being blind to the fact that somebody is betraying you. Abuse is a form of betrayal, right? When you are in a relationship with someone, especially when there's some sort of imbalance in a power dynamic, you are expecting that person to use that power or the advantage that they have to protect you and enrich you, not to harm you. And so it's important that you understand that the betrayal is a large umbrella under which abuse is under that umbrella, basically. And so when betrayal blindness is occurring, the person who is engaging in betrayal blindness is overlooking, ignoring, or minimizing the signs that they are not in a safe situation with that person, or they're not in a safe environment. And the reason why this occurs is because when people are in a situation like that, there's some sort of dependence on that person or that environment. And when I talk about dependence, I'm not talking about dependence in an unhealthy or pathological way. Healthy people have interdependent relationships upon one another. And it makes sense that if you are in a spiritual environment, if you're in any kind of close relationship with someone, a friendship, a marriage, etc., it makes sense that you are going to be dependent on that person or environment to some degree. That could be for financial resources, emotional resources, and all sorts of other things that make you feel stable and are part of your healthy existence. Take a minute here to ask if you have not liked, subscribed, or shared this video, please take a moment to do so. Liking and commenting and sharing these videos really helps the YouTube algorithm show this video to similar others. So if you haven't done so already, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe and comment. Okay, so back to the question about betrayal blindness. I've talked about how that happens, why that happens, and it's important to understand the betrayal blindness is actually a means of survival. I'm going to say that again. Betrayal blindness is actually a means of survival. Now, think about it. If you are in a situation where you are dependent on someone or some sort of environment or situation for your health, well-being, and maybe even survival, if you acknowledge this is not a safe situation, this person is unsafe, they're harmful, and they're abusive, that means you also have to acknowledge to yourself that you need to leave, you need to take some sort of action. And if you are in a situation that has been that you are getting resources from in a healthy way, or even in an unhealthy way, as long as you are dependent on that environment or person, the prospect of leaving suddenly, especially as soon as you find out or see that kind of abuse, can be terrifying. And it can also be harmful because for some people, they don't have any other resources, they don't have any other people. It can really devastate them financially and psychologically. And so when people are engaging in betrayal blindness, they're doing so as a means of self-protection and also survival. Also accepting or realizing the fact that somebody's not who they say they are and they're betraying you can also do a lot of damage to you personally, because it makes you think, how did I not see this? How did I willingly enter into a relationship or an environment with someone that would cause me harm? And that can cause a lot of self-doubt. And the reason why people engage in betrayal blindness is basically as a means of survival and a means of protecting yourself. And so I really want you to understand that and remember that, because when you have been through abuse, it's easy to not have compassion for yourself, to beat yourself up and say, oh, I should have known, I should have done something. When you have realized that you have engaged in betrayal blindness, understand, number one, that it's a means of survival. And number two, have compassion for yourself and understand the mechanisms of why that betrayal blindness happened. If you're in a family or relationship or friendship situation that you've been in for a long time, something that is really meaningful to you, it can be difficult to just realize, okay, this person is not for me, they're abusive, they're betraying me, and just get up and leave. And so it's important to understand, again, why those dynamics happen, and that is a means of survival. And so when you think about that, how can you kind of be proactive to prevent betrayal blindness? What I'm going to do is refer you to one of my videos that that discusses how to recover from gaslighting. And some of the methods that I talk about in that video: journaling, being aware of your senses, and trusting your intuition, or at least not ignoring it. Those are some of the same things that can help you prevent betrayal blindness. But one thing I also would recommend is diversifying your support system, right? When you are, especially when this relates to spiritual abuse. So for those of us who have been through spiritual abuse, it's really important to be ahead of the curve, basically, and don't allow yourself to have all your resources tied up in that spiritually abusive environment, right? Or any spiritual environment. So it's really important that anytime you enter into a situation or enter into a relationship, that you have, I guess, how do I describe this? You just have other people and other resources, especially when people are going through spiritual abuse. It is part of the reason that it's so hard to leave is because everything is tied up in that environment. They might depend on that spiritual environment for meeting their spiritual needs, psychological needs, emotional needs, and even some physical or financial needs. And so that's why it's important that going forward, you have people that are outside your spiritual environment that you can talk to. That way, the prospect of leaving is less terrifying. And also, people who are outside of a situation or environment that we're in can look at things in a more neutral and objective light, and they'd be more likely to pick up on signs that, hey, this situation isn't normal. This person is not a healthy person. This person is harming you. Okay. And so basically, they are able to more readily pick up on signs that we miss. And so that's why, and I talk a little bit about this in the video, is my situation normal, right? And part of discerning that and part of determining that is having someone who's not part of that situation look at it and say, and just give them the facts and get their opinion on it. Should be somebody that you trust and somebody that you value their opinion. But it's really important, again, to have those resources outside your spiritual environment. So I hope this helps. This is unfortunately a situation that a lot of us who are survivors of abuse have gone through, but it also, by us realizing that betrayal blindness is a means of survival, we have the ability then to be more compassionate to ourselves and to others. So I'd love to hear from you all in the comment section. What opened your eyes to betrayal blindness? What what sign did you see, or what kind of, what situation or sign made you wake up and realize that this situation, environment, or person is not healthy? I'd love to hear from you in the comment section about that. And also, drop some tips for others who feel like they may be experiencing betrayal blindness themselves. So so anyway, do that. I really appreciate it. And then if you would like to get help with your spiritual abuse recovery, go to my website, skillsetcounseling.com, and click on the orange button for you to book your free consultation, or you could also do that in the description box by clicking on the link. Okay, so again, please comment and like and share and subscribe, and may you have a peaceful and a wonderful day. Bye-bye.